Hi there, hello, welcome. This is Patty Bennett. Today we are going to be looking at these 6 amazing cards featuring the Stampin' Up! In the Moment stamp set. So if you are joining me on my weekly live on Fridays at 11 a.m. Pacific time, welcome. If you're watching a replay, you may want to skip ahead for just a moment or two so that I can have a moment just to make sure that we are in the right place and that we are, all set with technology and that I can welcome everyone. But I do just want to say I'm excited about this because these cards I think turned out really fun. Just going to scoot, hang on here, don't want to make you dizzy. There we go, just going to center that just a little bit better. So if you are watching live, I would love for you to type in the comments and say hello so that I know that you're here and I know that I'm in the right place. Hi, good morning, Tammy and Patricia, Mary, Jenny, Stella, Margene, Karen, Ethel, Gay, Rosemary, Holly, Lisa, Linda, Donna. Oh, so many of you. Thank you so much for letting me know that you're here. Oh my goodness, from all over, Manitoba, Colorado, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay. So I'm just going to scoot this just a little because I want you to be able to see this gorgeous rainbow of Stampin' Blends that are here on my desk today. So, oh, and Florida, hello, welcome. Oh, can you see all the pretty colors? Aren't they gorgeous? Yes, so much fun. So we're going to be talking about Stampin' Blends and this stamp set called In the Moment. Isn't it neat? It's such nice artwork. Stampin' Up! Has actually had several sets that have this same type of artwork. Some of them have had families, some are women, some are men, some are kids, and this is the most current release, and I just think it's really such a neat set. It just depicts so many fun different things. I was thinking about different people in my life as I was coloring these, and I'm sure that you can probably think of someone who might be kind of one of these people in your mind as well. So Holly said there's a question about these new blends over here. This is called the Natural Tones Collection. There is, as you can see, a set of 10. They are numbered 100 to 1000. They don't have actual names since they are not actual Stampin' Up! Colors. And we talked about these a couple of videos ago. I think I used these. They're available this month in January to demonstrators. They will be available to customers next month, February 2022. Did I say customers? Let me start over. They're available this month in January to demonstrators. I hope I said it right. They will be available to customers next month in February. They are sold in packs of 2. So 100, 200, that would be a package. 300, 400 is a package, 500, 600, etc. They are the same price, $9 for the 2-pack, but they are different colors. It's not like light something brown and dark something brown. You can see they're just totally different tones. And at first I was trying to think if there would be a way to share with you that you might only want to get certain ones, but you know what? I have used every single one. I love every single one. And you will see that I've used them for more than just skin. Like I have used them for wood. I have used them for the dog. I've used them for hair, lots of things. So they are all going to be great. I hope that all of you will consider getting those 10 new colors in February if you're one of my customers. Alrighty, so I think we are all here and ready to color and talk about these. Oh, hi Judy, first time joining me from Portland. Welcome. Hi Sue from Washington. Yes, Sharon loves this set. Exactly. Oh my goodness, from Gloucester, UK. Welcome, Katie. Okay, just scrolling back. Okay, I think I caught all the questions. So let's get started today. earlier this week, I posted on my business Facebook page and I said, what should we do this Friday for my weekly Friday Facebook Live? I said, is there a stamp set, a bundle, a suite, a technique? What do you want to do? What do you want to learn? What should I share? And there were dozens of responses, and the number one response when I checked about 24 hours after posting that was this set in the moment. And I was actually a little bit surprised. I really thought that either the tulips or the daffodils would be number one. Those were both a really close second. And hang on one second. I meant to get those out because I wanted to ask you something. Where are my daffodils? Here they are. So I would like for you to comment. So for next week, would you rather have a lesson on using the tulip dies, this one, or the daffodil dies? I want to do one or the other, but I want to do what you would like to see. So in the comments, whether you're watching live or a replay, if you could just comment tulip or daffodil and let me know, then that's what I will use. I will go through and I will look and see what the majority says. I know which one I want to use, but I want to do what you want to see. So I will definitely be doing one of those two next week on our weekly live video. So anyway, back to the poll. This was your number one choice. And I thought, well, I have no problem with that because, you know, I love to color. This is what it looks like in the catalog, page 57. So it has the 3 main images and then 3 greetings. And I really, like I was saying in the beginning, I think it's fun because you can kind of envision someone in your life that is either sitting there snuggling with her doggie or enjoying a glass of wine or enjoying a little relaxation on her window seat. I think it's just fun that you can think about that. And so I thought, well, this is fabulous. I am going to show them cards with this. So and Paradise Palms was also pretty high up there on your list. So I actually incorporated this into several of my cards, and I will show you that as we go along today. So let's kind of break it down. I want to show you, first of all, by stamp image. So these 2 cards feature this stamp, the girl looking out the window. And I decided to do I tried to do 2 very different cards with each of the 3 main images. I wanted to give you as many ideas as I could. As you saw, we actually have 6 that we are looking at today. That was my goal, was to just give you lots of information and ideas. And I want to show you, when you stamp the image, this is what it looks like. So you can see that I've stamped it on a different die cut here. But look at the difference. I gave her a little architectural renovation. Hi, Kirsten. Hi, Susan. Hey, Teresa. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Hi, Allison. Good morning, everyone. So this one, I decided she could use a little bit larger of a window seat, a little bigger window. And like I said, since one of your choices was for me to use this set, which I'm dying to use the palm trees and make beautiful scenes with this. So I decided to use this image and the sun, stamp it here where it looks like she's gazing out maybe on the beach or something, and she's looking at the palm trees, or maybe she's just in California or Florida because we all have palm trees. And so what I did was I used my architectural triangle. This is a drafting triangle that I have had for many years. If you followed me long, you know that I started drafting when I was about 14 years old, and I took it in school. I've worked for architects and engineers and That was 19 years of my career was doing that. So I have lots of triangles, but you can also get these on Amazon. You can also get them at Staples. Here's the trick though, and I'm sure this is difficult to see, but do you see the little beveled edge on this triangle? So this is important when you are using a marker and any kind of a straight edge like a ruler and you're drawing. If you don't have that little bevel, the ink can suck underneath and you could smear. So this is a really cool thing to look for. Do you see that? That little beveled edge. So if you look up beveled edge triangle or beveled edge ruler, you'll find things with that. And it's really helpful when you're drawing on paper. So I used my black Stampin' Write marker and I used the fine tip end. And as you can see, all I did was I laid my triangle down there and I drew the double lines. I drew those horizontals, extended them out, and then I did the verticals and gave her a little bit larger of a window seat. Ta-da! And then I colored it in with these beautiful new Natural Tones collection blends, and it just extended that. And then I stamped the palm trees, and I actually colored them with my Stampin' Write markers because I wanted the two colors, well, actually 4. So I did 2 colors of brown on the trunks and 2 colors of green on the fronds, and that's how I got these. The sun is just the circle in here, and I inked it partly in mango and partly in pumpkin pie to get the 2 colors. And then I used my light pool party, the broad tip, and I just gently stroked in a little bit of blue sky in between each of those window pane sections. And so that's how I did that background. I decided to use a piece of the wood grain paper from In Good Taste. If you know that pack of designer paper, it has lots of different wood grains in it. And can you see where, just a little bit there, you can see where I have stamped part of the image. So that is the bottom of her jeans and her feet. So then I took my paper snips and I cut that out. See? So I cut it out so it would go around there. And then that is what allowed me to have a bit larger of a wood grain window seat. Now you could just color that in with any sort of darker markers. That would work too if you don't want to go to that trouble. But that is basically how I composed that card. So what do you think? Do you like the architectural renovation? I think it's mighty cool. I love it. Thanks, Holly. Thank you. And then on this one, I just left the stamp, the image, the size that it comes in the stamp set, colored it in, but then I added 2 of these potted plants. So they are on this sheet. I used my paper snips to cut them out, and that package is called Bloom Where You're Planted. It is in the annual catalog. Now it also has a bundle that has stamp images and dies. You could stamp and die cut, but I just looked at this piece and I thought, well, look, I'm just going to cut that out. And then I cut this one out and tucked it behind. And I thought it just sort of gave such a nice, just sort of a relaxing, nice feeling on here. What do you think? I think that turned out really nice. Oh, thanks, Stella. Thank you, Karen and Julie and Patricia, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, Chrisanne. I'm glad you like that idea. Thank you. Oh, and you like the plants. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, I do. I love this one as well. And I went with the really dark evening evergreen card base to really set this off and really give it a nice frame. And this piece here is it the back of the same? It is. This piece with all the plants, this is actually the back side, and that's my background. Again, just to sort of give it that natural, just just sort of a relaxing sort of a feel on there. So a couple of things I want to point out, and if you would like to see some coloring demonstrations at the end, I am going to hang out and do that. But first, I want to get through all 6 cards to show you these. But I wanted to point out a couple of things here. This one, I gave the pillow some polka dots. So after your coloring is completely dry, if you take your marker, and in this case I used the dark Calypso Coral, and you take the bullet tip end and you just randomly do dots, that's how you can do polka dots. But you have to make sure that your coloring is dry, because otherwise those dots will just bleed. So you don't want that to happen. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. Another thing I wanted to point out was on her hair and on this wood, I used lots of colors of those new Natural Tone collection browns, and some of the browns you'll notice are warmer, some are cooler, some have a red undertone, some have a blue undertone, and so you can get really nice different looks by combining those. So I've combined about 3 or 4 of them here, 2 or 3 of them in her hair, and then I also added some yellow, and I think it was dark daffodil, just to give her a little bit of highlights. And then the last thing I wanted to point out was the shading, and this becomes really important if you want your image to look a little more lifelike. So you can see that in the wrinkles here that are in the image, I've done some darker Calypso Coral, and then gone lighter up here where the sun might be coming through the window and hitting her upper arm and her shoulder. And also here on her pants, you can see I actually didn't even color right there and right here. And that to me is important when you want to see more of a realistic rounded look. So don't be afraid to color in your darker areas and your medium areas and your lighter areas, but leave a little bit of white. I've also left some white right up here, right at the top where the sun would be hitting her hair, and just a little spot of white there. It really does help to make your images look a little more lifelike. So here, I did it, but not to that extreme. I've left it lighter up here, darkened it here, left it lighter here, and darkened it there. Same idea. And then also a little bit of shadow under here where there would be some shadow helps kind of ground her so she's not just floating on a shelf. So I hope those tips are helpful. Thank you, Marlene. She said my coloring is beautiful. What die did I use? This one is from Seasonal Labels. So it was in the holiday catalog, and it is an item that is carried over that is still going to be available. So you don't have to have that holiday catalog to order online. Seasonal Labels. And this one is Scalloped Contours. And let me see. Oh, thank you, Lori. Okay, so Lori brings up a good point. I just wanted to mention this. So yesterday, I happened to be packing up paper shares downstairs by my computer, and my YouTube channel was on, and I noticed that a little thing came up that said that Kylie Bertucci was live. And I don't know if you all follow Kylie. She is a dear friend of mine. She's a demonstrator in Australia, and I love watching her. I love listening to her. I love watching her create. So I had that on in the background, and I was watching her live and listening to the camaraderie and the banter back and forth like we do here on our Friday lives. And I realized how much I just loved listening to her talk about the card, talk about her thought process, and then watching her create. And so I thought, you know, I shouldn't be so nervous about sharing with you on Fridays, and I shouldn't worry that you may not like it, or, I mean, I never know, right? It's all of us who create and share with you online. We always have our doubts. And so I thought, you know what? I loved listening to her. I just hope that you all get something out of these Friday videos and that you enjoy my thought process and enjoy the projects and all of that. So that's why she just kind of gave me a little bit of bravery to come on and just be like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to share and I hope they like it. So I did want to mention that Lori in my downline was the one that suggested adding the plants to this, and I loved that suggestion. So I'm really glad that I took her advice. So I just wanted to give her credit for that. Thanks, Holly. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Such kind comments. You are all too sweet. Well, yeah, anyway, we always have doubts and we always wonder, is anybody going to like it? Is anybody going to watch? So I'm glad that you like it. So that's my first image with 2 different ideas for you. Oh, and the last idea I wanted to point out, in this one, I colored the wood window pane dark, or not the window pane, the window frame dark. And in this one, I left it white. And it's a very different look, isn't it? I like them both, but I think they each kind of have their own purpose. Here, I think she stands out a little more because the window sort of fades away, and here it becomes more of a focal point that she's got this big bay window that she's looking out. So there we go. That was my thought process on that. Oh, thank you, Wendy and Gay, Susan, Lenny. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Margene, I just showed that earlier. Maybe you weren't on here. The plants are in this package called Bloom Where You're Planted, and it's in the annual catalog. So I just cut them out, but you could also stamp and die cut from the stamp set in this suite. Kylie loves it when I say her name. Okay, Katie. That's cute. Well, I love Kylie. She's such a dear friend. Oh, thank you, Pam. You are so kind. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next image in the set. So we're going to look at the lady with the wine glass. So I have that one and this one to share with you. So here she is, the lady with the wine glass. Not really sure what she's looking at. She's looking at something. I kind of think because of those birds, I envision her looking out maybe at the ocean or a sunset maybe. So that's kind of what inspired my 2 cards. And I did, let's see, I did this one first. Yes, I did this one first. And I wanted to just show you the Kylie Bertucci, Gay. She is in Australia. Yeah, she's the #1 demonstrator in Australia. So this is my first card, and I want to show you this background is from the New Horizons designer paper pack, and we've looked at that in my video a couple weeks ago where I went through all the products I had from the new catalog. I used this piece and I cut it at 4 inches up here, and then I cut a strip and a 4 1/4 inch piece because this is, see, it's a book binding fold. So isn't this beautiful? This pack, I just can't wait to dive into and make like 60 cards with this. I just can't wait. It's so beautiful. So I envisioned this lady sort of looking out at this beautiful scenery. And I stamped her on an oval. So here's the oval. But I colored her and then I thought, well, this white oval is just too white. So I mimicked this background with my Stampin' Blends. So I've got coral and daffodil and, sorry, my mind just went blank. What is saffron? That's the other yellow that we have. I wish we still had mango because I think that would have gone perfect, but it's retired. Then I also used some of the papaya and I used some flamingo, flirty flamingo. And I think I already, yeah, I said coral. So I just sort of scribbled. I did not try to color it in. I just, can you see that? I just scribbled to mimic so that it kind of looked like that paper was still coming onto that oval. And I don't know, I think it turned out pretty cool. And I was showing my team, my Love to Stamp group, the demonstrators in my group, I was showing them this on our weekly call on Tuesday. We do a live video. And I said, I don't know, I think it needs maybe a scalloped oval behind it. And Cheryl in my group said, what about the doilies? So I grabbed this new pack of doilies. It's from the Heart and Home Suite. There's cinnamon, and there's gray, and there's misty moonlight. And I thought, okay, well, since I already had her dress colored in misty moonlight, I put it behind there. And then when I layered it back on, I thought, oh, that's it. That's perfect. It sets off the oval, but it also still lets those colors just kind of like blend, not blend, but well, yeah. I mean, I don't know what's the word. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yes. Oh, Mary, I miss cruising so bad. She says it reminds her of looking out from the balcony on a cruise ship. Okay, that's what I'm going with. That's the new deal. I love that. Thank you. No, Holly, it's not stamped. I just colored with my blends. Just scribbly coloring. Yeah, I'm glad you like it. Let's see. I'm just scrolling back. I want to make sure I'm catching all. See if there is a question. Oh, thank you, everybody. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Thank you, thank you. Coordinate. Thank you. That's the word, Pam. Thank you. Yes, it just coordinates. There we go. So that was my thought process on this one. And then I pulled in the Misty Moonlight ribbon, which is new in the same new catalog as this set, the January to June 2022 mini, so that I have a repeat of the Misty Moonlight. I don't know, you've probably heard me say this. I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, but when I work on a project, I try to repeat the colors at least twice, if not 3 times in a project. It helps your eye think that it's all cohesive. So the only exception here is her glass of wine. That's Mary Merlot Stampin' Blend. But I thought it was appropriate for the wine glass. I thought if I tried to make it white wine, it would just, like, you wouldn't even see it. And I wanted it to stand out. So that's the exception here. That color is used once. I probably should have stamped this in Mary Merlot to repeat that, but I really like how it just stands out. So there we go. So that's that one. Again, using several of those new Natural Tone Collection brown markers for her hair and for the wood. Yeah. So do you like this one? What do you think about this one before we talk about the little note card? Oh, good. You like it. Thank you. I know. So Sharon says, I love how you pulled out all the colors that you used. Well, I know. I use a lot, don't I? I was thinking, as I was pulling these out and setting up for today, I was thinking that when people think of me, I sort of hope they think, oh yeah, that lady that loves to color with Stampin' Blends. If that was what you thought about when you think of me, I would love that. So any questions on this one? Yes, Diane, these 10 new colors, they are called the Natural Tone Collection, are available this month, January 2022, for demonstrator pre-order. They are available in February for customers. And, oh, good, you love it. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about the second card. And this is a cute little baby note card. Look at that. Isn't it sweet? And I wanted to do something just a little bit simpler, something that maybe would not seem intimidating. I don't know if that is, but I didn't want anybody to feel intimidated with this. So I thought, let's just do a simpler one. And so this one, let me pull out the pieces so you can see what I used. So the note card and envelope are in a package. Let me grab the whole package. Okay, so here are the smaller note cards and envelopes that I just used on this one. And I've used the striped blue ones on an, not this, sorry, grab the wrong thing. I used the striped blue one on a project that we're going to look at next, at one of the last cards. And this is from, here we go. Heart and Home, Memories and More Cards and Envelopes. And that is also in the January to June catalog. Let me show you where those are. Let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just was looking at a comment. So you can find them back here on page 87 in the index, but it also tells you page 59 is where you'll see that. So if you just flip one page past this set, you'll see the Heart and Home suite, and it is part of that suite. But I pulled it in, used it for these. That doesn't mean you can, only use it here. And here's those doilies we were just talking about. So that's where you will find those. Yes, I did get what you were talking about the rule. And it's not like, Gay, it's not a rule that everybody has to follow. It's kind of my design rule, is pulling a color in more than once so that your eye just kind of flows. So we have the misty moonlight, misty moonlight, misty moonlight. We have the yellow, the yellow, the yellow. We have the, it's funny. It was hard to get this color. I combined actually the yellow and the Flirty Flamingo to get this kind of purpley-ish, pinkish color. So that kind of flows around the card as well. And then I repeated the Calypso Coral with the greeting and the dots. So just helping that to flow. Yeah. And it's not like, you don't have to do it. It's just sort of my design rule. So back to our little note card. This note card is just like, I would call it gray printed on the white. But when I got finished coloring this die cut from the, what is it called? Sorry, my brain just went blank. The contour, scallop contours, sorry. So many products in my brain. The scallop contours. When I finished coloring it, I wanted a little color back here. So do you see what I did? You can see how it's a darker color. I just took my blending brush and I took my crumb cake ink pad and I just, up in this corner, gave it a little color and let it fade back out here to the regular note card color. And you don't have to do that. I just really liked the way it looked. It was just something that was pleasing to my eye. So this one is just very simple. I liked the red, white, and blue sort of a theme, the red dress, the blue belt, the blue hat, the blue in the sky, and I left the wood railing white. Just super simple. And then for the sky, actually, let me demo this one for you when we're done with the next two cards, and I'll show you what I did with that sky. But I just added it onto my little note card, and then it has the matching envelope, which I think just makes a really sweet little combo. What do you think? I wanted something easier, just easy, simple to show you with that. So that is sample 3 and 4. And then we have 2 more, 5 and 6. And I should have pointed out, I just noticed that I wrote this for you. So I am, I never even introduced myself really. This is Patty Bennett. Hello, everybody. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I have been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 26 years. It'll be 27 years in a few months. And I blog at pattystamps.com. So I have projects and ideas and tips and reminders and videos for you there each day. These cards that you're seeing today, since there's six cards and so many tips, I couldn't put them all in one blog post. So tomorrow, January 15th, I will have 2 of them. I'll have 2 more on the 16th and 2 more on the 17th. So if you're looking for them, that's when you're going to find them on my blog. It was just way too much for one post. It was going to be overwhelming. It would have been brain overload for all of you. Oh, thank you, Gay. Oh, thanks, Julie. Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. What, Tammy, what tip? What tip did you like? She said she loved the tip. Tell me which tip you liked. Let's get out the last two cards and then we'll do some coloring. So in our set, we first looked at this lady looking out the window. Oh, thank you, Tammy. Yep, blending on the note card. Yep, I thought that was really a nice little way to alter that just a tiny bit. Oh, hi, Juanita. Welcome. You'll have to watch the replay and catch up. We're on our last 2 of 6 cards today. So this was our first 2 cards that we looked at. Then we looked at the lady with the wine glass and we decided she's on a cruise ship looking over the railing, and I love that. So I'm going to think of that always. And our last 2 of 6 cards are this image, the lady snuggling under her big cozy blanket, reading a book, snuggling with her doggie. So we're going to look at 2 cards with that one. So these are my 2 cards for that image. And again, I wanted one maybe a little more complicated, and I'll show you why it is. It really isn't, but it might feel like it. And then I'll show you the one that's just simply colored. So let's look at this one first. This was actually the very first card that I did with this set. And what was inspiring to me was the designer paper. Let me grab the supplies here so I can show you these pieces that I used. And this was the piece of designer paper that inspired me. I can show you the whole set here. It's called Artfully Composed, and I think it's my favorite one in the mini catalog, basically because these are Patty colors. I love these colors. And this is my favorite pattern. So I wanted to use it, but it was too big, and I'll show you why. So I used this one. It's very close. They're almost the same. So I used this pattern, and let me show you what I did with it. So first, you can see in the background, I've used it as a background. It was a little bright, a little overwhelming, so I cut a piece of the new vellum. And this one, can you see that? It actually has a little print on there. Almost looks like a book, maybe a dictionary or something. So by layering that on top, it tones it down where you still see that beautiful pattern. You still see the colors, but it tones it down. And then I layered that onto a soft, succulent piece of cardstock that has been, I never know whether to call this embossed or die cut, because the die that does this is called Stitched Greenery, and it's an actual die, but it kind of looks embossed. So whatever you want to call it. Anyway, that became my background. Those 3 layers on thick basic white base. So that became my background. I knew I wanted to do this. Normally, I don't figure out my background before I do my focal point, but in this case, this is what I wanted to work with. And so this is what I did first. And it was very backwards for me. So then I stamped the lady on a circle, and I know, I'm sorry, that this die, the stitched shapes, did retire. But I happen to have about 100 of them pre-cut. Thank you, Die Cutting Fairy Tammy. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to use them. You can use a plain circle if you don't have a stitched circle, but I'm going to use them up. I'm not going to just recycle them. So anyway, that's that. That's my disclaimer. So that became what I was going to work with. But I still wanted to work in more of this paper. So what I did was I stamped that image. Do you see here her feet? And you can see the coffee cup right there. I stamped on scraps and I cut out, look, do you see? It's the blanket under her feet there that she's sitting on. Maybe it's her bedspread. whatever, her comforter. And I stamped it 2 times and cut out different parts of it and kind of layered it together. So it's called paper piecing when you do that. And you can do it to anything. I could have done it on her jeans or the other blanket or a pillow. You can do it wherever you'd like. But I thought that this was kind of fun. And I know if you had seen, do I have those? Yes, I do. These were on my blog a couple days ago. And I talked about these paper piecing onto these cute little cars from the Celebration set. So again, it's just stamping on designer paper and cutting them out. And aren't they cute? So if you're looking for those, pattystamps.com, scroll back a couple days ago. But it's the same idea. You're stamping an image onto designer paper and you're cutting it out. And I just thought it looked really fun, not flun, fun. For her comforter there. But then I took all those colors into consideration for coloring the background. Not the background, the image, the whole thing. But I did color I was looking at the background, and that's what made me think. Do you see the difference here? You can see how the background is colored. It's not white. And that was just the light petal pink. Or was it? I don't know. I think it was petal pink. You could also use this number 1000. You could use that one. But I think it was the light petal pink. And I just very lightly colored in the background so that it wouldn't be stark white. So that was that card. Those are the pieces for that one. And then my 6th and final card for you today. Thank you. Glad you liked the blanket idea and the colors. Thank you. My final card, this uses the larger striped card and envelope from that packet that I just showed you, the Memories and More cards and envelopes. And I just thought fun, bright, red, white, blue. I got it all done. I put this on here and then I was like, well, hang on. That's kind of contradictory. I've got like this really bright, fun card and then it says, relax. I'm like, oh, well. Kind of cracked myself up. Oh, Heidi, the numbers. These 10 new markers here that demonstrators can order this month, the natural tones, they're numbered 1 to 1000. They don't have actual names like light brown or burnt sienna or something like that. They are numbered. You can see, do you see there the numbers 700? So they're numbered. So that's what I was talking about with those. So these are available for demonstrator order this month, for customers next month. So that's what I was referring to. Thanks for asking that. All right, so let's see. Tips on this one. A couple of tips here. So I wanted her to have white socks because, I don't know, I thought that just seemed like comfy cozy, right? But instead of leaving them completely white, I did use that number 1000 and I gave it just a tiny bit of color there. Does that show on the camera? It's really probably hard to see. And then I wanted to make sure that her blanket looked like it had lots of kind of folds and it was cozy. And so I've got some darker balmy blue with the lighter balmy blue, just so that it has some depth and dimension to it. A couple of other things that I wanted to do on this card. I wanted contrast between this blanket and the dog. I really wanted the dog to show up. So you can see I've used several of those darker natural tone markers for the dog, but left the blanket fairly light because I wanted that contrast there. I wanted her pants to look like jeans. So I used Misty Moonlight and colored the darks and the lights. And then when it was about dry, I took my color lifter. And this Stampin' Blend has no color in it. If you pull off the lid, you can see it's just white. Well, it's not white. It's actually clear. There is no color in it. And I just streaked right up the center of her pants. And do you see how that gave it sort of a mottled? It really looks like real jeans, doesn't it? I also did it right in the middle of the red on the book because I didn't want just a flat plain red book. I wanted it red, but I wanted it to look like maybe it was a little bit worn. And so that color lifter is a great thing to just, you don't want to like scrub. No, it's just like a swoosh, and it lightens it. The last thing I wanted to point out was the polka dots, and we talked about that at the beginning today. After your image is dry, you can use the bullet end of your Stampin' Blends and just put little dots, and they won't bleed because your other ink is already dry, and you can have polka dots. So I thought that was really cute. And do you see how I've left white right there and there? I've left some white here. It's, to me, like I said in that very first card, it's important to leave white spots to make things look a little more real, like some light is bouncing off of them. It looks a little more dimensional than just coloring flat. Oh, let's see. No, Linda, these are Stampin' Blends. See, they're Stampin' Blends, just like all of our other Stampin' Blends markers. We've just added 10 new colors. So you use them with the Memento pad. These are all, I should have said that, these are all stamped with the Memento black pad so that the blends will not bleed. Thanks. Thank you for answering each other. Thank you so much. Was there any other? Hi, Christine from Australia. Okay, yes, they are blends. They are Stampin' Blends. Hi, Janelle. Welcome. So I think that was it for the tips on this card. The only thing I might have done differently on this card, I feel like her face, I probably colored it too dark because we have dark hair, the dark skin, and the dark book, and they don't, not any one of them really stands out. I kind of wish I had done a little more contrast there. Maybe blonde hair and a tan skin, or maybe, I don't know. That was my only regret on this, but it's fine. It's fine. I like the fact that your eye kind of goes to the doggy and he becomes more of a focal point with leaving the muzzle white. And I don't really know dogs well enough to know if I colored it correctly, but I did what I thought was good. Yes, I could have done a yellow book. That would have been good, but I really liked the red, picking up the red. Again, we have it in 3 places here. So, yeah, there's lots of things I could have done with it, but thank you. I'm glad you like it. I am so glad you like it. So what I wanted to do, now that you have seen all 6 of the cards from this In the Moment set that you voted you wanted me to use, let's look at them again. If there's a particular card that you have questions about, that you're kind of wondering, wait, how did she get it to look like that? Or what was the secret? If there's one of these that you would like me to pull out my supplies, I've got all the supplies here, and color, I would like to do a coloring demo for you. Of course, we might get votes for all 6, and in that case, I'll just pick one. But if there was something that you wanted to see in particular, I would love to demo that for you. So I'm going to give you just a minute. And also, while you're thinking about that, don't forget about voting next week. I would love to either do the daffodil or the tulips with you. And if you have a preference, you can also vote right now and just type in either tulip or daffodil and let me know which one you might want to see demonstrated next week, because I am just excited to use both of those. So let's see, the window, the one you want to redo. Okay, so that one. Okay, that one, the window. And we have a vote for daffodils. We have a vote for tulips. The one looking out over the deck. So we have all 3. The one with the dog, the tulips. I'm just going to wait a second for voting for any more. The palm tree one. Oh, okay. I did use the triangle just like a ruler, though. I didn't use it like with a T-square or anything, Chris Ann. The window, the brown wood, the extended window seat, extending the frame. Oh, okay. So you all like that one. Okay, we can do that. Totally. Tulip, tulip, tulip. Girl with wine. Oh, Annette, you'll have to watch the replay. We are just wrapping up. We did all 6 of these card. I talked about all 6 of these. Let's see. Okay. Oh, Pam wants to see the one with the plants. Margene wants to see the window. Okay. I am going to show you the one with the window since that seems to be the most votes right now. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's do the girl in the window with the architectural renovation of the extended window seat. Let's do that. I have her stamped. I have it ready. Oh, and I wanted to show you this background here. I really liked the way, again, this theory of picking up the same color 2 or 3 times. So I have my Calypso coral in the greeting, the pillow, and the background. And I just like how that flows. So I picked this paper, and it is the back side of one of these not architectural, artistically, what is it? Oh, hang on. I need to know the exact name so I don't say it wrong. Artfully composed. Artfully composed is the name of that paper. So here it is. And I used this one on the front of that other card, and this is the background of this card. You could very easily just cut Calypso coral paper and this would look equally as fine, but I just wanted to show you that I kind of liked that distressed area around here. You can see that. So that was my background, and I just wanted to show you that. So let's look at extending the window with our black Stampin' Write marker. And I do want to say, this is the only marker that you can get individually from Stampin' Up, and I have several. I love that I can draw and write with this. I can make borders around my cards, and it's a lovely marker to have in your arsenal. You do not have to purchase an entire set to get the black one. So I just wanted to mention that to you. All right, so I used the fine tip. See that? If you're not familiar with our Stampin' Write markers, one tip has a nice brush end. The other end, oh gosh, my words, has the bullet tip or the fine tip. So I'm using the fine tip to draw. And all I did was, and sorry, I have to stand up and look over my camera so I can look straight down. So all I did was extend this out. And then we have this. And sorry, I know I'm probably speaking right into the microphone. And I wanted it to be a little irregular. Oh, we probably don't need that one if we're doing the wood paper. But do you see how this over here that's part of the stamp is kind of irregular? It's not like super, oh, I don't know what the word is. Perfect. So I wanted this to be a little bit irregular. And that's all I did to extend it. And then we will just color with our markers, and you can pick whatever colors you want. So looking at these new natural tones, I think I'll kind of go with like probably 200, 300, and a little bit of 4 and mix these. These two have those nice red undertones that go with the Calypso coral. So the only thing that throws my mind on these is, in my world, 100 would have been the lightest and 1000 would have been the darkest. Okay, maybe it's just my brain, but that's how my brain works, and that's what I would have done. So I always have to stop and look at my little chart, and you'll probably want to make yourself a little swatch chart as well, because it really helps when you're referring to these and you want to color some hair or some wood or the dog or whatever you want to color. It really helps to look at the colors on those little swatch samples. And you've seen me swatch like in every one of my Stampin' Blends videos, I bet. I have a series of 23 Stampin' Blend videos on my YouTube channel. And if you, I can try to link to those. I think I linked to them last time as well. But if you're watching this on a YouTube replay, I'm going to link up here to the playlist of all of my Stampin' Blends videos so that you can watch more of those if you wish. So that's really all I did to do that architectural renovation and extend out. And it kind of feels like I should probably put another row over here. It's bothering me. It was bothering me. So we'll do that. And I'm just going to do it like just kind of short so that it mimics that other side where it kind of fades out. And this is kind of a fun, just kind of sketch the color in there. You don't need this to be really colored in solid. You just want it sort of haphazard-ish. Okay. I'm just reading Talina's question. Oh, good. Donna agrees with me. It should have been, this should have been 1,000 and this should have been 100. Thank you. I knew I couldn't have been the only person. Oh, Leticia says same thing. Lisa's saying, thank you. All right. You are all agreeing with me. So Talina says, can you mark up the swatch with the undertones you see? She's horrible at that and she wants to know my thoughts. Absolutely. Let's look at this. So you know that colors are cool or warm, right? So cool colors have a blue undertone. Warm colors have a red undertone. So if you looked at any of these and you see, like my eye sees right here, I see warm and I see red. So these are warmer. Right here, I see this one and this one are cooler, so they have a blue undertone. And if you want to mix and match warm and cool, no rules against it. If you were working on a project where you wanted like maybe a horse or a bear or something like that, and you wanted them all to kind of be flowing and the same and coordinating, then you would pick out the ones that have the either all warm or all cool. So I would pick like warm, 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 warm. Or I would pick cool, 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 cool. So either way, that's what I would pick. And really, I'm not an art teacher. I'm not an expert. These are just things that are pleasing to my eye and the way that I look at it. And my husband is actually working in the other room. And if he came over here, and he probably would be glaring at me going, she's crazy. I don't see that. And it's okay. But it's how my eye sees it, and it's how I like to work on projects. I'm going to grab, hang on, because I keep all my swatches up here. You've seen me talk about these before, right? So I always swatch when I'm working on a project. There is something interesting to note when you start looking at these. And specifically, this caught my eye, sticking out up here above me. When you look at these, they are all those cool blue undertones. And so they all work really well together. Let me show you something. If I took olive, let me do this. If I took olive and I put it in there, all of a sudden, at least to my eye, this is a yellow green, and it doesn't go with jade, right? It doesn't go with macaron. It doesn't go with seafoam and it doesn't go with Bermuda because these are cool blue undertones. It doesn't go with the yellow green. So that's just how my eye looks at things. And again, it's not a rule. It's not a law. It's not any kind of policy. If you don't want to do it that way, you do what works to your eye. Okay? It's just how my brain works. So let's grab the palm trees and I'll show you how I stamped that in the background. And I'm not going to worry about the trunks going down here because of the wood piece that's going to be there. And then I showed you that I used 2 browns and 2 greens. So I have Granny Apple and I have Mossy Meadow and I have Early Espresso and Soft Suede. So I'm going to start by doing the darker brown here where there would be shadows from the palm fronds because that part wouldn't get much sun. And then I hope I just didn't hit the camera. Sorry if I did. Then I'm going to do the whole thing with Granny Apple. And as soon as I'm done coloring this, I'm going to catch up on your comments. I can see them scrolling in the corner of my eye. And then I'm going to take that darker, which did I say it was? It is Mossy Meadow. And where those trees are darker down here underneath where they are not getting sun on them, I color the darker part. And then I'm just kind of putting some moist air on it. And then I'm going to hold it there because you need to let all those colors soak in. I see a lot of people that when they're stamping, they ink it and they just go like, and they think that's enough. And it's not. You really need to make sure that the colors like soak in there. So that is our palm tree background that she's gazing out upon. Then should we do the sun? We can do the sun. Let's see. I'm going to scroll back. You're welcome, Talina. No. Okay, so Gay, good point. So if you are, she's asking about letting your colors dry in between. So if you want your colors to blend when you're coloring with your blends, then you color them, while they're wet. If you want them to not blend, then you kind of layer on the color when it's dry. So either way, whatever you'd like. I'm going to do that sun, and I used mango and pumpkin pie so that I could kind of get a pretty two-tone effect. So there is our sun and our palm trees. And then let's do the sky. So that's light pool party. And I just tried to go fairly light. Because I didn't want the sky to be necessarily a focal point, but I didn't want it to be white either. And I'm not going to color over the green. I don't think it will bleed, but I don't want it to bleed. So trying to go around. And I'm just doing kind of sketchy. I'm not trying to make this fill in super dark. I just want a little bit of background color. Okay, so there is our sky. Let's see. Oh, yes, Patty, you'll have to watch the replay. Please do. And, oh, you're welcome, Gay. Yes, Diana, it was fun being on Kylie's video yesterday. It was very fun. So let's see, I actually would love to do her pants a little bit more dramatic like this. See how this one has a little bit of shading, but not quite. So I kind of want to show you that. But we're going to do the yellow top because I really like that. Again, those 3 pops of yellow. So I'm going to do my light saffron, just a real kind of a really light coat of light. And then I think this is daffodil. Oh, that's the dark saffron. I want to do the 2 daffodils. So then we will do some shading with the light daffodil. Then we'll do some shading with the dark daffodil. So I think Gay, was it your question about letting it dry? So you can if you want, but I am going right on top of wet, on top of wet, on top of wet, because I really want this to blend and bleed together. So this was light calypso. Do not be afraid about mixing and matching colors. It's something that's more realistic than just like one color. You don't necessarily just want one color. You can, I mean, nothing totally wrong with one color, but I just love to keep layering in the colors. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you. So this is dark calypso coral. I am barely dotting that on there. And I'm going to go again with my dark daffodil and just sort of help that to blend. No rules, absolutely no rules. You can do whatever you'd like. And I'm going to do her mug dark, and then this pillow is so small that really there's almost not even room to shade, but we're going to do the 2 shades of daffodil anyway, light and dark. So there we have our 3 pops of the yellow. And just a little more. There we go. So that's that. And then while we have our coral out here, we can, oh, was there a question? Let me see. Was there a question about the sun? The sun was the ink pads, Mango Melody. I inked the whole thing in mango, and then I just sort of dipped a little part of it into my pumpkin pie pad and softened it with my blending brush. And then just a little scribbles of the light coral. And then in here where you have those darker spots, the parts that would be darker, the dark coral. And then I'm going to go back over it with the light coral. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way so you can see. I don't usually color with my hand way over here, but I'm just hoping that stamp set was this one, Paradise Palms. Let's see. Oh, the jeans? Okay, we can do the jeans pants. Sure. Sure. All right. Okay. And I'm not going to do blonde hair because it's next to the yellow shirt. So we will do a little bit darker on the hair. She could be a redhead. Red would actually kind of look kind of cool, right? But I think I'm going to go ahead and do brown. So let's see. What color should her hair be? How about like 600 and 400? That's about my color, I think. I think 600 and 400. So a little scribbles and then a little bit of low lights where it would be darker. I think we need even darker. Let's get 200. So just kind of darker around, I think that's a barrette in the back of her hair where the barrette would be. And then how about, what color highlights should she have? Maybe some So Saffron highlights. And then we'll go back in and just blend that a little bit with, what is this? 600. Okay. There we go. So there's her hair. Fun, huh? Well, I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. Okay, so then we'll do the jeans. So let's see. Hang on, I'm grabbing one of the other cards that we already looked at. Well, I'm trying. There it is. So we have blue jeans. We have, whatever that is. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any pants that color. And we have the evergreen jeans. So I don't know. What color should we do? What color? Oh, thank you. Linda says she's going to make this card. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Which one should we do? I don't know. What color should... Well, let's do her skin while you all vote on what color pants she should have. So skin, I think I'm going to go really light on her skin. I'm going to try starting with 1000 because I want a little more of a contrast. I felt like on this card, I liked it, but I felt like everything was sort of the same value of tones, and I just sort of wanted something a little bit lighter there. Well, let's do 800 for these little shadows under her ankles and kind of the bottom of her feet and the bottom part of her arm. There we go. All right. Let's see. Oh, red pants. Let's see what else. Evergreen, red, evergreen, evergreen, blue, blue. Faded jeans, evergreen, 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 blue, evergreen, blue. Okay. Seems really split. Let's see. Oh, we could do khaki pants. Cheryl, that would be kind of cool. And then make the bench dark. Ah. Well, I was going to use, if it's not lost over here, let me find that piece. Oh my word, if you could see this stack of falling over business over here. Where did my piece of wood grain go? I'm going to cry if it's lost. Oh, where'd it go? Is it under there? Under there? Under there? There it is. It was stuck to the other side of that card. So, you know what we'll do? Here's what we'll do. Let's quickly cut out this piece and try it in place, and we'll see then which color of pants, because that is a good point, Cheryl. When we get this dark piece of wood for her window seat, then it might make a difference on the pants color, right? So if we're going to have this here, I'll have to trim that. I'll have to trim it down both bottom and the side. But you know what? White pants actually look kind of fun. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? But I think it could use color, because otherwise it almost looks like somebody forgot to finish the card, right? So blue would tie in with the sky. You're right. I think blue jeans. I think that's going to win. So we'll do Misty Moonlight. And I'll show you that little trick with the color lifter. All righty. So we are going to do light Misty Moonlight first. And it's so dark that I just had to look at it because that kind of scared me for a minute. I was like, did I grab the wrong thing? Okay, we're going to do some light. And then we're going to do some dark. And we'll put that where it would be dark because we already know where the artist has those lines and where she would be in the shadow down here. Maybe a little bit right there would be dark. And then very lightly, we're going to just, I'm like feathering some of the light on top. I'm going to use the bullet tip. And see, I'm leaving that white part. It's hard. It's not an easy thing for me to do. And then I'm going to, this is my color lifter, and I'm just going to rub it right in the center and then right up here. And it's just going to kind of push that color away. And then we are going to use, I think we'll do this, is this dark pool party. And it might seem odd, but it's going to give just that little bit of, you know how jeans have sort of different colors after you wash them and wear them, and they get sort of different, you know, different parts of them wear sort of differently, right? So that's what's going to happen there. And when that dries, you're going to see that it's just sort of that light dark jean color. And she's going to have a Calypso coral belt. And you know what? We forgot. This is a little bit of her skin right there. Right there. Fill that in. And then I think a Calypso coral barrette. And I think that we will call her just about done. And then I will trim that up so that it's not hanging over the scallops. And I'll trim the side and so that it fits like this one does. And that gives her a little extension on her window seat. But that's how I did the extended window, the little architectural renovation, the palm trees and the sun, and cut out of that for the window seat. And there we go. So what do you think? What do you think? There's so many things that we could keep coloring. So many pretties. I love all this, but we are already at 1 hour and 15 minutes. And I don't want this to be too long. So we did 2 with the dog, we did 2 with the window seat, and 2 with the lady who is now on a cruise ship. So if you don't have wood grain paper, just color it with your brown markers. Yeah, you absolutely don't have to have wood grain paper. Thank you. So glad that you like them. Yes, Tammy, we need a coloring day. We totally need a coloring day. Thanks, Robin. So any questions on any of these, I would be happy to answer. And I'm going to look back through all of your comments and see if we are doing tulips or daffodils next week. My personal choice is tulips, but I'm open to either one. If you all vote more for the daffodils, then we will do that. I am so glad that you join me on Fridays for our live videos. It's so fun to chat with you and see what you are commenting on. You can find these cards starting tomorrow, January 15th, on my blog. There will be 2 on the 15th, 2 on the 16th, and 2 on the 17th. Tulip, tulip, tulip. Okay. Oh, good, Vicky. I'm glad you'll watch the replay. Thank you. Yes, we've been going for 1 hour and 20 minutes already. Oh my goodness. So much fun. So many things to share with you. I just couldn't stop using this set after I started. And so I just had to keep going. So again, this set is called In the Moment. It's number 157987 in the January to June mini. And then I also used Paradise Palms 157716. If you don't have a demonstrator, jump on over to pattystamps.com and use the ordering links. I would love to be your demonstrator. And if you needed to have catalogs, I have a link on my blog for that as well. Let's see, there was a question. I'm scrolling back. Where did it go? You're welcome, Patricia. So glad you liked it. Oh, thanks, Sue. Yeah, I have 23 Stampin' Blends videos on a playlist on my YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and you search for Patty Stamps or Patty Bennett, it should come up. And then one of the tabs is playlists, and you can find all of my Stampin' Blends tutorials there. They're all free. I should make a poll post. Okay, I could do that. Thanks, Leticia. Oh, good. Oh, thanks, Linda. Likes the vellum over this. Yeah, I thought that was a good choice as well. All right, let's see. Oh, what color would you mix with evergreen? So I would do the evergreen and the soft succulent. In fact, that's what I did. Those are the three. I used soft succulent and evergreen on that. And let's see what else. Oh, you're welcome. You are welcome, everyone. So glad that you enjoyed it. Well, you all have a wonderful remainder of your day and a wonderful weekend. Here in the U.S., Monday is a holiday for a lot of people, so we have sort of a little extended weekend here for some people. And then I will see you next week with either daffodils or tulips. And I am excited to share those with you. So thanks again for joining me, and we will chat next week. Bye.